It's slow. It's starting really slow for some reason. I don't know why that is. I mean, there we go. What's up, everybody? Welcome to a brand new episode of the Empire 161 Show, Season 3, Episode 18. Happy to be here on a Monday night. First half of a doubleheader for some of us. But yeah, excited to be here talking about some Yankees series wins, the first time since mid-June. But whatever, we got them, and things are looking good again. So, yeah, thanks for joining us. If you're joining us on the Facebook live stream, if you're joining us on YouTube or our Twitter handle, or if you're joining us on the audio-only version where we found your podcast, we always appreciate it. And with me, as always, is Lisa Garcia. Lisa, what's up?
Hey, everybody. Wait, so you didn't say whose song this is? This is Oswald Peraza?
I think it's Oswaldo Cabrera. Oswaldo Cabrera.
So yeah, if I'm not mistaken, it's Neverita by Bad Bunny, right?
Yes, correct.
Yeah. FYI, folks, if you haven't heard the Bad Bunny album, Un Verano Sin Ti, it is brilliant. This is one of the songs off the album. And Gleyber Torres also uses the song from the album, my favorite song, Después de la Playa. Just a little, Latin American History Month early knowledge for y'all. So, Ed, I am excited to talk about things today because we got to go to a very special game that did not have a good result, but we enjoyed the beginning of the game when I finally made it there. And before we officially started, okay, folks, I'm notorious for DVRing things and then not watching it for like 1, 2, 3 months. So anybody who follows my regular page on Facebook saw that I recently finally watched the ESPYs, and I told Ed I wanted to talk about it. So he said talk about it in the beginning. So I'm going to real quick. I am a sucker, an emotional sucker for the 3 what I think are the most serious of the ESPY awards and the most important ones. So I just want to say that I was bawling my eyes out while watching Albert Pujols win the Muhammad Ali Sports Humanitarian Award. Ed, did you know that he provided medical, dental, and vision care? He provides, actually, in the off seasons, medical, dental, and vision care in DR on a regular basis?
I did not know that, but that's pretty awesome of him because Pujols seems to be a pretty good dude.
And not only that, he also works with folks who have Down syndrome because one of his daughters has Down syndrome. So he's been doing a lot of work with that community. And he showed pictures from a prom that he holds for them every year. And he just wants to, help folks with Down syndrome and their families feel more normal and welcoming in the world, which I think is really beautiful. So all of that, that was one of the first awards given out. And I was like, I was like, dang it, ESPYs. And then the next person that made me cry was this amazing woman named Command Sergeant Major Gretchen Evans, which is one of the highest titles in the military. And I can't remember what branch she was in. She got the Pat Tillman Award for service. So she had served for 27 years, and she was one of the highest ranks. And there was a mortar blast during one of her deployments that threw her against some rocks and left her deaf. And when she woke up in the military hospital, they wrote on a board and told her she was deaf. She was really upset because she had been very active just in general. So when she went home and was recuperating and getting used to having lost her hearing, she was like, I'm going to go for a run because I'm used to going for runs. She did not hear a car and got hit by a car.
Ow.
So when she woke up at the hospital the second time around, they were like, you can't do things the same way anymore. You're deaf. And she was like, nope, I don't accept that. So she did a lot of work to create a community for former military folks who, got hurt during their service. And they do extreme sports together. Like she's climbed mountains. She's skydove. I don't know how to say that in past tense. Yeah, it's a thing to ponder.
Yeah.
Like she's done all these awesome things. And not for nothing, I don't know how old she is. I'm gonna say she's 65 plus, and she's doing these things.
That's impressive.
Yeah, so just really cool. And she also has a service animal, and her husband was a chaplain in the military as well. He also has a service animal that used to be her first one. So she talked about how the service animals like helped save her life. Because if she didn't have one and she wasn't able to do the things that she could do, she probably would have chosen to end her life.
Oh, yeah.
So that was another one I was bawling my eyes out. And then the third one was the Jimmy V Award for Perseverance, and they gave it to Dick Vitale.
Wow.
Yeah, so did you know that he battled cancer
recently? I did know that. I also know he's an avid Rays fan. He's a season ticket holder.
Is he? Oh, yeah, yes, he does live in Florida. He does live in Florida. He talked about, and Bucks, and the Buccaneers.
Yeah.
He mentioned them in his speech, actually. So he had cancer, and what's, I guess, I don't know the word, ironic about that is that when Jimmy V went up to receive the award the first year it was given, Jimmy V was very, very sick, Jimmy Valvano. Oh, and Dick Vitale and can't remember the other guy, he was a college coach, physically helped him get on stage to do that speech that he's famous for. Because the day before, he's like, I'm not doing the speech. I can't. I'm throwing up, blah, blah, blah. And then the day of, Dick Vitale asked folks, can we just bring a mic to Jimmy so he can, give his speech? And he's like, no, get me on stage. I'll be fine. And then if you've seen that speech, which is pretty famous, like he had a lot of energy that evening. So Dick talked about his journey. I also didn't know that Dick is blind in one eye. And he has been blind in one eye since he was a kid. So I hear the dogs.
yeah, I'll be right back. I just want to go check
I'll finish the story. I think Angie just came home with the dogs, folks, so they gotta go say hi to their daddy. But yeah, Dick Vitale was blinded as a child. I forgot how. And his mom told him, okay, so what? You're blind in one eye. You still have another eye. Don't let that stop you. So he's had that mentality for his whole life. And his speech was it was funny. It was touching. It was moving. I learned a lot more about him. I don't follow college basketball. So I learned a lot about him. And I just really wanted to talk about those 3 awards because I thought that they were so meaningful. I'm a big proponent of when you have the means, and this is something he said in his speech, when you have the means, you should do all you can to give back. So just really 3 touching speeches throughout the award show that I really enjoyed, and I wanted to highlight them.
Nice. These guys are right. I think Angie just came home. That's why they were walking and losing their stuff. So I just wanted to make sure it was Angie and not somebody else was strolling in the house, because then I would have been pretty concerned.
This is true.
So, all right, cool. So let's jump into it. Let's get into the week that was, where the Yanks went ahead and took on the Twins. At first, listen, when the Yanks seem to be struggling or need to find their groove again, hopefully sometimes the Twins show up on the schedule.
Play the Twins.
And it kind of seems like it rights the ship a little bit. And this series was no different. So the Yanks went in and took the opener, which was on Labor Day matinee. Took that one by a final of 5-2. Jameson Tyone got the start. Unfortunately, no decision, but pitched well, though. 5 innings, 6 hits, 5 earned runs, 2 walks, and 3 Ks. Greg Weissert came in to get his 2nd win of the season. Clay Holmes came on to lock it down for his 19th save of the season. And Aaron Judge, 2 for 3 with his 54th home run of the season. Also added in a double, 2 RBIs, and a walk. Josh Donaldson, who I want to talk about in a second, was 1 for 2 with an RBI, 2 walks. IKF was 2 for 3 with an RBI, and Marwin Gonzalez hit his 4th home run of the season. The first one of the game was scored driven in by Josh Donaldson on what I guess he thought was going to be a 2-run homer, and kind of did his whole bat flip and posing thing out of the box and got thrown out at second base. So, yeah, and Aaron Boone went ahead and kind of just said something to him, and it appeared like he kind of gave him like some sort of a fist bump in the dugout. I don't think that was necessarily it's okay and it's all good thing. I think it was more of like, because Boone, like, listen, what we know of Boone at this point, he's not Billy Martin. He's not going to go and fight somebody in the dugout or scream at someone in front of the cameras and stuff like that. He probably, listen, he could have said something pretty direct about it and then did that for the, just so it doesn't look like he's yelling at him and got his message across, or could have addressed it after the game. As long as it was addressed at some point is my concern, because Donaldson does this a lot, and he did it a couple of times this week, and now they weren't all home runs. So, I mean, if you could do your bat flip, I have no problem with bat flips and, like, the whole let the kids play campaign that MLB has been doing the last couple of years, but you better make sure it's gone if you're flipping bats and posing, because that's pretty embarrassing when it's not. What did you think of that?
I
overall
think
thoughts on it. I mean, just in general, and players do that, I guess, too.
Yeah, I mean, I think it depends on the player, right? Because I feel like the players that are known to hit home runs, sure, I'm all for it. You should do it. I do appreciate players who do it more like Aaron Judge does, where they just like put their head down and run.
Yeah.
Derek Jeter used to do that too. There's been a couple of players that it's like, okay, I hit a home run. Let me not put insult to injury, So I think there are some players who are very obnoxious about it. Josh Donaldson being one of them. And I can't stand when a player does that and then it's not a home run and then he's like, oh shit, and he starts like booking, hauling butt to get to first base. So yeah, I mean, I'm not a huge Josh Donaldson fan in general. Like, if you told me that Giancarlo Stanton did this, which I think he's done it a time or two, I would have been like, yeah, but with Josh Donaldson, I'm like, I don't love it. I can't stand when Aaron Hicks does it, but I can't stand a lot of things Aaron Hicks does. So.
Oh, so hold on. So you're saying if you like the player, then it's okay, but if you don't like the player,
no. I said Giancarlo Stanton has done it.
But you said you would have excused it then.
No, I would have been like, but like, I don't know. I find some players to be extra obnoxious about it. Josh Donaldson being one of them. Like, calm down, bro.
Yeah, listen, I think there is an aspect of act like you've been there before. And Josh Donaldson has hit his fair share of home runs and bombs over the season, over his career. Not this season as much, but again, if you're going to style and profile, you better make sure it's gone. Like, right. It needs to be like 10 plus rows into the seats. No, not like, it's going to hit off the top of the wall, which I'll get to because that happened on Saturday where it was like, is it a home run or is it not? And then it turns out it would just hit up barely off the top of the wall. It can't be a wall scraper. Mm-hmm. It needs to be a no doubter. And then you can do a cartwheel, you can do a flip. I don't care what you want to do after that. But I agree with you, though. If I had to pick and choose, the way Aaron Judge does it, the way Jeter did it, the way Paul O'Neill did it, like, all right, boom, I got it. And then act like you've been there and get around the bases, and that's it. Mickey Mantle hit his fair share of home runs and was notorious for that. Mm-hmm. He even said he felt like it was bad. He felt bad that he didn't want to show up the pitcher. He literally, that's a quote of his. So, yeah, if greats like that can do it, then, I mean, Josh Donaldson can be one who can have a little bit of a humble pie to do that. So, yeah, it was. But overall, though, it was a nice. They were actually playing on a holiday for a change, which this year they didn't. Which I hope. I didn't get into the details of the schedule next year, but I'm probably going to look that up. Just make sure they're playing on Memorial Day and 4th of July and Labor Day, like the days they need to be playing. So it was nice to actually have them playing on a holiday where they should be, because you should have baseball on all those holidays.
Absolutely.
Every team should be playing, no off days on those things. It's a part of the deal. Even if you're at a barbecue, you have it on the radio or whatever, something like that. Like it needs to be a part of it. So you got anything on this game before we move on to the doubleheader?
I mean, the only quick thing I'll say, which like it already is a moot point, but I wrote it for this. When Aaron Judge hit his 54th home run in the 6th inning, that tied A-Rod for the most home runs in a single season by a Yankee right-handed batter. And then he went ahead with the next day and broke the record officially. And here we are talking about biases, I love that he beat A-Rod and did it without help.
Yes, without
we don't know.
Without help.
We
know. I'll go on record as saying I feel confident about this one. I feel pretty good about this one. I mean, a dude is 6'7", 280. I think it's okay.
I think so.
I think it's all right. But yeah, well, there was a rain out Tuesday night, and that led to the single admission doubleheader on Wednesday night. And yours truly had tickets to Tuesday night, and then had to get creative on Wednesday, but did make the doubleheader, which I was very excited for because the other single admission doubleheaders this year didn't get a chance to go to them for whatever the hell reasons are. So I'm glad I at least got to go to one. I know I usually get really excited about the single admission doubleheader. Yeah, well, the first one though was kind of nuts. That's Yanks went ahead and pulled this one out in 12 innings by a final of 5-4, a game that they should have wrapped up a lot sooner. But
oh my God, that was the never-ending story of a game.
Yeah, they banged into 2 double plays in extra innings to find ways not to score. It was really frustrating, but in the end, a win is a win. Domingo Germán did get the start and pitch well. 6 innings, 7 hits, 3 earned runs, and a walk with 6 strikeouts. Greg Weissert came in again to get his 3rd win of the season. Aaron Judge, as Lisa had mentioned, was 1 for 3 with his 55th home run of the season. And also mentioned, went ahead and set the Yankees' single-season home run mark by a right-handed hitter, breaking Aroyd's former record. 2 walks. Gleyber Torres had his 19th home run of the season, driving in 2 with a walk. And Oswald Peraza picked up his first major league hit. And once he got that first one out of the way, it was like, all right, let's go. He was 3 for 5 with a double and a run scored. And Oswaldo Cabrera was 1 for 6 with an RBI. But hey, that one came with it as beating the shift in the shortstop hole in the 12th inning to walk it off. So you're going to go 1 for 6, make that one count.
And not only that, in the 10th inning, Oswaldo Cabrera threw a runner out from right field, saving an additional run from scoring too. He has been so fun to watch since he came on board. I really like his energy. And then I think, were we at the game when we saw the sign where the girl had a sign that said, Cabrera, I want a date or something like that? Was that at the game we just went to? I know we both reacted at the same time, so we were together when we saw it.
It had to be Friday, yeah. It had to be Friday.
Yeah, because I know we were both like, whoa, okay.
Yeah. Then the pressure was on. It was like, man, all right, now you gotta hit, you gotta do something here. But Cabrera finds a way to do something impactful on every game. Like his offensive numbers don't look particularly great, but the kid's got a good swing so far and finds a way defensively to impact the game. Whether it's in right field or second base, shortstop, third base, wherever the heck he's played, it's been mostly right field. And he's adapted to it pretty well, since they've had to play Judge in center field quite a bit. Yanks completed the sweep with a doubleheader of the Twins by a final 7-1. Mm-hmm. Garrett Cole, to me, he was the story in this game, besides the other big thing. But, I mean, Garrett Cole, though, picking up his 11th win of the season, going 6 2/3, 5 hits, an earned run, 2 walks, 14 strikeouts.
14!
And 6 2/3. That was impressive. He looked nasty. He looked real nasty. Lucas Litke picked up his 2nd save of the season, going 2 1/3 with 3 hits and 3 Ks. IKF 1 for 3 with a grand slam.
Woo!
Driving
That's
in
the
4.
first of his career.
Yeah, his first grand slam. 2 runs scored and a walk. And Aaron Hicks was 1 for 5 with a bases clearing double, 3 RBIs. And Esteban Florio was 2 for 3 with a run scored and a walk. So, unfortunately, not the last time we're going to talk about Hicks this show, but that was a big hit. I mean, you got to give him that. I mean, he did go ahead and clear the bases, and, before his adventure on Friday night. But it was nice to see them cap it off and clinch the series win, over the Twins when they desperately needed to start picking up some W's, man. Like the Rays are lurking and getting closer. So, you got to take the ones where you can get them. And, I mean, I think that's going to kind of remain for the rest of the season.
Yes. And I have a stat about Garrett Cole. So when he struck out his 14th batter of the game, he earned his 20th double-digit strikeout game as a Yankee. Only 2 other people had more. Want to guess? Let me help you out. I don't know I think it's 80s, not 70s. 80s and higher. So more recent. They're both still alive.
Oh, they're both still alive. Wow. Okay. Let's see. Ron Guidry.
23.
Roger Clemens.
Nope.
Dave Righetti.
Ooh, you got the first name right.
David Wells.
The other one.
Cohen.
Yeah, and he had 21.
Nice.
Mm-hmm. So I'm sure at some point Garrett Cole will, surpass those because he's been ridiculous.
Yeah, Sandy will, but I mean, the guy is a strikeout machine.
Yes, he is.
Regardless. So he's up there. He's going to be in the tops in the league in strikeouts pretty much every single season. So
I also saw a stat that I thought I wrote down. Oh, never mind. It's in the next game.
So let's get to that game where the Twins went ahead and avoided the sweep by final 4-3. A game where you really thought, I mean, IKF had a chance, with the bases loaded, and unfortunately could not be the hero this time. Good sign, though, is Nestor Cortez came back off the IL, obviously on a pretty severe pitch count, but he only went 4 innings, 2 hits, 2 runs, a walk. No walks and 2 Ks. Miguel Andujar hit his first home run of the season, going 2 for 3, driving in 2 with a walk. Aaron Judge, good night, not a home run, but all right, 2 for 4 with a double and a run scored and a walk. So, what did you have on tonight on the Thursday night game?
So that was the Twins' first win at Yankee Stadium since May 4th, 2019, and they have gone 3 for 24 in the Bronx since 2015. So just like you said when we opened the segment, when the Yankees are on a losing streak, let's hope the Twins are in town soon.
The Twins are coming up on that schedule. You're like, all right, let's go. It's time to right the ship now. So they seem to be the elixir for whatever ails the Yankees at that time.
Yes.
But Friday night, the Yanks welcomed the Rays into town for a huge weekend series because this is the last time they're going to see each other. It was
in the regular season.
As we don't know about the postseason. We'll see. But it was Derek Jeter Hall of Fame tribute night, which Lisa and I had attended, and we went ahead and got some pretty good seats too, I would say. I think that part worked out pretty well. We'll get to the night in a second, though, but let's go over the game quickly. Frankie Montas got the start. His line, not indicative of how he pitched, at all.
No.
I mean, he went 5 2/3, 9 hits, 2 earned runs, 4 walks, 4 Ks. Aaron Judge was 2 for 4 with an RBI and a walk. Miguel Andujar was 2 for 4. Kyle Higashioka, though, stepping in for Jose Trevino, who was on a paternity list. He was actually activated earlier today. He was 3 for 4, his 8th home run of the season. And the Yanks also, in the 9th inning, they were messing around with tying that game or taking the lead because there was some warning track shots.
Yeah, two of them.
Yeah, there were, by Gonzalez and by Gleyber Torres. So, I mean, they had their chances. But the story of this game was in the 4th inning when Aaron Hicks goes ahead and drops the ball with 2 outs in left field where he's going in and sprinting to the wall, inexplicably drops it. Then the next play, of course, it's hit to him into left center.
No.
He does whatever that was.
He didn't just drop it. He dropped it and was like, because he thought it was a foul ball. And then he realized that it was actually a fair ball and was like, oh, let me get the ball in. And by then, they were already on second base.
So he was booed, and rightfully so. I'm sorry. I'm not personally a booer. I'm really not of my own team. Other teams, whatever, I've booed and said a bunch of stuff that I'm not going to repeat right now. But it's just deflating. And there was a Joey Gallo chant that got going, and that's how you know it's gotten bad. When now the fan base is asking for Joey Gallo again after he was ran out of town. But Boone went ahead and took him out of the game. He benched him for Estevan Florial. And again, that's the post game is where things got really weird, though, because So they asked Boone, was this punitive or something like that? And he's like, no, it's not. We just had to get him out of there. So it's like he wouldn't say the word, but you knew it was, right? Like, okay, Boone, we get it. You're going to protect your players at all costs, but like you still got to straddle that line. And sometimes you kind of sound ridiculous. Just state it. And you got him there because the entire stadium was all over him, and it was deflating. It was a packed house. Everyone was there, still excited for Derek Jeter and everything. And this is what happens. In the first game of also a huge series against a team that's chasing you down that you had a 15-and-a-half game lead on at one point. Mm-hmm. So this was a huge night, and I'm sure all of that played into it. And yeah, whatever the hell that was, the second play was that he had, and then he also struck out with runners in scoring position earlier, and he was essentially ran out and, hasn't played since. I just think he needs to go back into the phantom zone, wherever he was before, and that's it. You play him when you absolutely have to, but otherwise, Miguel Andujar, Esteban Florial, whoever. It's just you got to get Hicks out of here in the offseason, and the writing's on the wall, in my opinion.
Yeah, I think Boone is even running out of excuses.
Yeah, it is what it is. Like, and the thing is, like, he's better than this, right? Like, we might not be huge Aaron Hicks fans, but he's not this guy. This has gotten out of control. I think it's gotten mental and it's snowballed and it's gotten real crazy, and he just needs a change of scenery. Whatever it takes to make that happen. You DFA him, eat part of the salary, or you trade him and eat part of the salary. Whatever it is, you just got to get him out of here. I'm sure he'll be better somewhere else, but he's got to go. But beforehand, though, they had the Derek Jeter Hall of Fame tribute night, which, they always do a great job, I think, with these pregame ceremonies and stuff like that, and this was no different. But Jeter's words were dissected and flipped around and spun around and everything else. Like, I still found the most interesting thing of his whole speech, though, was when Hal came out to present him with the check and the fans booed. Right?
I love that he was like, yo, he got booed. And I love what Derek said.
Yeah, it was just like, listen, y'all better cheer. Trust me, you better cheer. And he's probably had a relationship. I'm sure he's had a relationship with Hal over the years where, he probably knows, they get along and they are, he thinks he's a good dude and stuff like that. And he's done right by him. And that's what it was. And he had some comments because they had a presser afterwards that I got to check out, and Jeter had mentioned that, listen, Yankee fans, he even said that, like, during his era, they had a lot of success. Fan base might be a little spoiled for this, but they expect excellence. Yes. And when they're not getting it, they're booing because they want to cheer. Yes. That's what it is. It's almost like if they didn't boo you and there was no reaction, then you also got to wonder at one point, like, wow, you just don't matter anymore. At all.
Well, he gave a good example with Meredith Marakovitz when she interviewed him, probably prior to the event, and he said during the '98 season, which is the year that they had like the best record ever.
Yeah.
They went on a stretch of losses towards the end of the season before the postseason, and he said, "I'd be walking on the street and people would be like, 'You got to get it together.'" And he's like, we won 125 games that year. Like, what else do they want us to do? But he's like, Yankee fans are very smart and they care a lot about how we perform. And it's true, of course. We're totally spoiled with that. And I recognize that. I also recognize that maybe the Yankees, aren't the best team in the league right now off of comments that we're getting. But it doesn't matter. I'm a Yankee fan. So, of course, I'm going to focus on the Yankees. This is a Yankees podcast. Thank you for continuing to comment on our show, though.
Loves it. He loves our show.
Huh?
So much. We appreciate him for watching our show because he loves it.
Yeah.
He can't get enough of it.
I know. But, yeah, I thought it was – those boos were some of the loudest boos of the night when Hal came out. I'm wondering how much louder they would have been and if he would have said something if it was Brian Cashman that came out and gave him that.
Yeah, I don't know. From what we heard in the captain, it sounded like they may have buried whatever it was. And I think he was frustrated with Cashman during the contract negotiations. I don't think overall he had too much of a problem with him. He did make the call to trade Stanton here. So, he didn't have to do that either if the feelings were that hard. But I don't know. I mean, I appreciated, Jeter sticking up for Hal. I mean, then he had the comments at the end that he hopes he'll be around and seeing the fans being at the stadium a lot more. And we talked about it there. There was other speculation on what does that mean? Does that mean he's going to have a role with the organization coming soon that maybe they're working on or what? It could be in any capacity. Or it could just mean that he's not working for another team and could just be making more of these ceremonies that they have. I mean, because, it's been noticeable that he's been absent. Maybe he's going to finally give in to Old Timers Day.
Listen, I just have one comment about that. I'm all for him getting more involved because I'm going to sneeze. Hold on. It's going to come out while I'm talking. I could tell. I apologize ahead of time if I sneeze, folks. I have seen him in more commercials. He narrated the beginning of the ESPYs. His Instagram is everything to me. I love his videos. And all I got to say is if he goes to the women's fantasy camp, I'm going to be one very upset former camper. I personally don't think he should because there's a lot of women there that think they're going to be the next Mrs. Jeter or Mrs. whoever. Homeboy is married and very happy, and she's drop dead gorgeous, and they have 3 girls. No chance in hell that any of those women are going to steal Derek Jeter away from his wife. So I don't think he should go for that reason alone because my coach for 3 years was hit on by this one woman in front of his wife all the time. And we had to distract the woman who was hitting on him all the time so that the wife wouldn't kill her. And my coach was oblivious. He was not paying attention to this woman at all. But these women were going hard for these very married men who had their wives with them at the camp. So I can only imagine Derek Jeter showing up to camp and women losing their minds. I would lose my mind just because he's the one Yankee from the teams that I watched growing up that I have not yet met that I mean, he's one of my favorite Yankees of all time. I got to meet Jorge Posada, who is amazing and a really nice man. I've got to meet Mariano Rivera. Didn't have as much of a positive experience with him, but I'm sure he's a nice guy. And I met Tino, who I absolutely loved, and he's one of my favorites too. So if I can meet Derek Jeter and the only way I can meet him is going to camp again, So Derek, please don't go to women's camp, please. Go to Alzheimer's Day.
All right, well, let's go ahead and let's keep it moving then to Saturday afternoon, where the Yankees went ahead and really turned it on over the weekend. Went ahead and crushed the Rays by a final of 10-3. They opened the game with 7 straight singles. So right out the box, all for Corey Kluber. First team since the Kansas City Royals in 1988 to do so. Yep. That was pretty impressive. Now, one of those singles was a Josh Donaldson, what he thought was a home run that hit off the top of the wall after he flipped the bat and did his whole thing, and that didn't quite work out after it was reviewed. But Jameson Taillon, though, did get his 13th win of the season, going 7 1/3, 6 hits, 2 earned runs, a walk, and 8 Ks. Aaron Judge, 3 for 4 with an RBI and a run scored. Josh Donaldson was 2 for 4 he did hit a home run, his 13th home run of the season. 3 runs scored. Giancarlo Stanton was back in the starting lineup after making some pinch hit appearances the 2 previous games. He was 2 for 5 with his 25th home run of the season.
That hit the foul pole.
That did hit the foul pole, and yes, it was off of a position player, Bethancourt, who came in because
a 45 mile per hour or 47 mile per hour pitch.
Oh, whatever. Take your hacks off and screw it. They're going to put them in. Let's go. Mm-hmm. But Cabrera was 2 for 4 with 2 RBIs and a run scored. That had mentioned, the Yankees offense opened the game with 7 straight singles to start the game. So they came out, guns blazing. We're kind of like, listen, we're going to set we need to end this crap and take this series. And they really turned it on in this one.
So, as you know, we were at our softball games, and then you and Joe rushed off to go see the Yankee game. And the rest of us. Huh? You made first pitch.
We made first pitch. We got there 10 minutes before.
So we made it to post game right before the game started, and they had it on. They also had a bunch of college games on, so there was only one TV with the Yankees on. And I had my back to that TV, so I went to turn around and look, and it was 7-0, and I was like, "What? The game just started! Holy crap!" It
Scored a touchdown.
Quickly.
They scored a touchdown.
They scored a touchdown. Yes, it was crazy.
Yeah, that was a nice one to put that away. Put this one away pretty quickly and keep it moving. But Yanks didn't go ahead and stop there. They went ahead and spanked the Rays again by a final of 10-4, which wasn't even as close as that might even sound. Couple of odd things in this game, though. So it was the first thing I did want to mention, though, was it was the 21st anniversary of 9/11. So the Yanks were hosting this year. Last year they were at Citi Field, and both teams did a great job. Mets did a nice job hosting that last year with a nice pregame ceremony with the Yankees. But Domingo Germán, though, when he went out to take his warm-ups, he actually, if you remember, Sammy Sosa carrying the American flag out and running out, he did the same thing actually yesterday when he went to the pregame warm, not the huge flag, like but he had like the smaller flag. And I saw him doing that. I was like, oh shit, that's right. He's doing like the nods to Sammy Sosa doing that. And I thought that was pretty cool. I thought that was a nice touch by Germán. What I did not know, though, is that he was only going to go one inning because he was going to be used as an opener because he was on short rest. So it makes sense. Yanks got tonight off and they got Thursday night off. So they're kind of resetting their rotation. But it was a bullpen game that Wandy Peralta picked up his third win of the season, going 2 1/3, only allowing 1 hit. Gleyber Torres, though, hit 2 home runs. He was 2 for 4 in a day. That gives him 21 on the season, driving in 4 with 2 runs scored. And Giancarlo Stanton hit his 26th home run of the season, a 3-run homer. Like I mentioned, 3 RBIs, 2 runs scored, and 2 walks. And Oswaldo Cabrera, first home run of his career. So it's nice to see that, driving in 2. And yeah, it seemed like he was flirting with that first career home run for like a while. And it kept on just not happening. But this one was a no-doubter. That was it. And again, the Yanks put one ahead in offensive. They were up 10-1 fairly quickly over the first couple of innings. So it was nice to see them kind of like flex the muscle. Be like, listen, dude, who's in first place? Let's back off on this. You guys trying to chase us down stuff. So they're not going to face head-to-head for the rest of the season. So the Yanks are going to have to take care of business against other teams. They don't have a cupcake schedule coming up. The Red Sox are last place, but they are going to play the Yankees tough. They always do.
Always.
So it doesn't really matter. They're not just going to roll over. So it was nice to see them take the series. Like I mentioned earlier, 2 straight series wins for the first time in 2 months.
Yep.
Which is not great, but it's great that you got the series wins when you absolutely, absolutely needed them. And it felt like the walls were closing in on the division. It was like, all right, the real Bronx Bombers, please step up. And they did. I kind of felt like they did. Hopefully this is them righting the ship and moving on and getting back to playing some good, consistent baseball moving forward.
Mm-hmm. And I have a fun fact. When in the bottom of the second, when Giancarlo Stanton and Gleyber Torres hit back-to-back home runs, that was their 15th time this year doing so, which set a new single-season franchise record.
Nice.
Yeah.
Back-to-back and a belly-to-belly, as John Sterling would say. Yeah. So that was nice to see. It was a nice way to exhale after a very, very frustrating night.
We definitely needed that.
Yeah, Thursday night was frustrating because they probably should have took 4 from the Twins, and then Friday night's game with the Aaron Hicks fiasco and stuff like that, that was really, really frustrating. So nice way for Yanks to respond. All right, let's do our awards of the week. First, we'll start off with our top of the heap hitter of the week. And I kind of have a feeling like there's not too many options to go with here, but I will start off this time. I'm going to go with Aaron Judge.
What?
Yes. Oh, my God. Big shocker. He would have hit .458 for the week with a .570.76 on-base percentage and a .792 slugging percentage. That is going 11 for 24 with 2 home runs, 6 RBIs, 8 walks, and 6 runs scored on the week. So a ton of walks because we know that in these situations, teams don't have to pitch to him unless someone else gets hot, like Giancarlo Stanton or Gleyber Torres. If someone can get hot behind him, maybe that'll slow that down a bit, but you're going to see a lot of intentional walks. So Yeah, another great week by Aaron Judge as he is knocking on the door to get to that 62 home runs. So, Lisa, do I have to guess who you got here?
No, same guy.
It's all right. By the way, just came across right now. Mike Trout has hit a home run tonight. That gives him 7 home runs in the last 7 games.
Oh, wow.
So he is flirting with Major League history. Moving, he's there right now. So let's see if he goes at it and breaks that record.
What's the record?
The record, Don Mattingly had 7 straight home runs in 7 straight games. Ken Griffey Jr., I believe, also has 7. I believe the record is 8. So there, it'll try to come to me before we're done to get back to that. But I'll get the name for you of who it is because it's just right there and it's annoying the crap out of me that I can't remember. So, all right, Lisa, who is your King of the Hill pitcher of the week?
So I was checking everybody's stats, and at first I was going to pick a reliever, which I don't normally tend to do. But there were several who pretty much had the same stats. So I went with an opener. I went with Jameson Taillon. Did we have the same pick again?
Yep. We went with Jameson Taillon also. I almost want to purposely just change it, but I'm not going to. I'm going to stick with Jameson Taillon. No, I mean, he had some big starts this week and kind of helped set the record straight on a lot of things. I mean, granted, Saturday the offense went crazy, but he also made sure that it held up. So someone needs to be, to set things straight regarding the Rays, and it was a nice way that he went at it and took care of business right there. So, all right, let's get to our preview of the upcoming series because the Yanks got a 2-game set coming up with the Red Sox for the last time in Fenway this season. So, do we have pitching probables or no?
We have half.
Okay, all right.
And it's not even the Yankee half.
Oh, wow.
Yep, I looked right before the podcast yet again. So let's make this quick, and it's only 2 games. Tomorrow, it's Nick Pivetta, who is a right-hand pitcher. He has a 9-11 record, 4.29 ERA, and 148 strikeouts on the year. And he's playing the ever-formidable TBD.
TBD is very dangerous.
Very. And then on Wednesday, the 14th, Brian Bello, right-hand pitcher, 1-5 record, 5.79 ERA, 36 strikeouts, also facing TBD. I guess with that reset where Domingo Germán only pitched 1 inning, they, I don't know, they're still trying to figure it out now that Nestor Cortez is back as well. I'm curious to see what they do with him because he's already surpassed his innings total. So we'll see what happens with that. I'm sure they've got him on short leashes for the rest of the year.
All right, so I got it right now. It is Ken Griffey Jr. who has the record with 8 straight games with a home run.
All right, there we
go. So he is 1 away from tying Griffey. So that would be pretty interesting to see if he goes ahead and can break that record. I mean, because that's
pretty amazing. And how many does he have total?
Total home runs for Trout. I wasn't looking at it. I was actually just looking up an article that had the record that was here. He's got to have 20-something home runs, I got to believe. I think it's in the low 20s if I remember correctly.
Okay. Well, I mean, good luck to him. I think that would be awesome if he could do it.
Yeah. Yeah, I was going ahead and just looking up. Yeah, so we'll see. We'll talk about it, I guess, next week. We'll know for sure if Trout goes ahead and breaks that record because that's a pretty impressive one. For absolute consistency with banging some home runs. So, All right. So we'll see if the Yankees go ahead and can go ahead and add to this lead over the course of the next week as I cue up the music. So there we go. All right. So thanks for joining us this Monday evening. If you join us on the Facebook group, you can go ahead and join the Empire 161 Show group. Where we share highlights and lineups and all kinds of other stuff that don't make the show. So you can go ahead and join us on there. Go ahead and if you also are checking out the show on Twitter, follow us at Empire161 Show. Same type of thing that's going on Twitter. Or you can check us out on Instagram at _Empire_61. _show. So same thing. Lisa is the one who controls the Instagram for us. So you can go ahead and give her a follow right there. Also, don't forget Pop Culture Pros, who we are presented by. Join them on Facebook. Subscribe on YouTube if that's where you're catching us. And follow at Pop Culture Pros on Twitter as well, or wherever you find your podcast. So we always appreciate it. So coming up after this at 8:30 tonight, Granny's Peach Tea, which I'll be joined by Jason, maybe Rick, maybe not Rick, maybe Tim, maybe not Tim. Who knows with those two, but I can guarantee you me and Jason will be there. We'll be talking about the latest episode of She-Hulk Attorney at Law. We'll be talking about the latest episode of Harley Quinn as well, and Stargirl, and taking a look back at the Trial of the Incredible Hulk, which is a TV movie from 1989 that was made with Lou Ferrigno and Bill Bixby, so that should be a lot of fun. Yeah, we've been taking it back lately on our Hulkamania tour to tie in.
Speaking of Hulks, I saw the Incredible Hulk jogging in Central Park this weekend.
Mark Ruffalo. I was about to say, did you see Lou Ferrigno? What?
No. Yeah,
nice.
We were leaving the park and we were crossing the jogging path, and all of a sudden he runs in front of me and he's by himself, and I'm like,
that's awesome. That is awesome.
What's the matter? I'm like, dude, that was Mark Ruffalo.
All right, so there we go. We got another. That's a real crossover, Granny.
It is a crossover.
All right, well, let's go Yankees.
Woo!
Have another good week, and we'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Bye, everybody.